Okay guys, so here's part one of the class opener, and number one says to take that linear function f of x equals 2x plus 1 and translate it 6 to the right. So in order for us to really understand this, we need to think of the general form that we already know is f of x equals a parentheses x minus h to the m power plus k. And if we think about a translation of left or right, we're really talking about h. If we think about a translation up or down, we're talking about k. And we also need to remember that when we do think of h, we need to think opposite of whatever we see, right? Because of the minus sign that's right in front of there. So, going back to number one, we have the general form, and the general form is 2 parentheses x minus h. X and the minus h is, we're translating, what is it again? We're translating 6 to the right. So we know that it's actually going to go in as a minus 6. Sorry, here we go, minus 6. And the plus k is plus 1. So there's nothing to do except simplify, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to distribute the 2 times x and get 2x, and then distribute 2 times negative 6 and get negative 12. And last but not least, I'm going to add the 1 at the very end. So my final answer is going to be g of x equals the 2x minus 11. That's your final answer right there for number one. Okay, let's take a look at number two. Number two says to vertically compress by 1/2. And right here on the notes it says to vertically compress something, you multiply the entire function by the factor of b. So once again, we're going to vertically compress by 1/2. And once again, if you think about the word vertical, that simply means up and down, which means we're messing with y. So we're going to change the y's by multiplying by 1/2. And we realize that there is no y, that this f of x is really y. So this whole thing is y. So we need to multiply the entire thing by 1/2. So let me actually do that. Let me zoom in here. I'm going to multiply this guy by 1/2. And I'm also going to multiply the 1 by 1/2, giving us a final answer. G of x equals 1x, or just x, plus 1/2. That's your final answer for number two. Let's move on to number three. Number three says reflect over the y-axis. And once again, let me show you the notes. Here it is. And to reflect on the y-axis, we must multiply x's by negative 1. To reflect on the x-axis, we must multiply the y's by negative 1, which is the entire function. So once again, to reflect on the x, you change the sign of the y. To reflect on the y, you change the sign of the x. So on number three, we want to reflect on the y, so we're going to change the sign of the x. Where's x at? It's right here. So we're going to go in there and pretend that there's some parentheses around this thing, and we're going to change the sign of the x. So it's really going to be 2 times negative x plus 1. Okay, now what is 2 times negative x plus 1? It's our final answer, and our final answer is g of x equals negative 2x plus 1. Done deal for part one.